everybody. Welcome to Ms.Wheeler Reads. I'm so happy you decided to join me for another bedtime story. If you guys are enjoying the bedtime stories, why don't you click on the subscribe button? Ask a family member to help you. There's a subscribe button and it's red, and there's a bell beside it. If you click on those two, you'll find out when I'm putting a story online. Okay? I'm going to be doing it very often. I'm very excited to be doing this with you. So again, thank you for joining me tonight. And I need to know if you have a few things done first. Like your teeth brushed, your pajamas on. I have these funky ones on tonight. Of course, my cow pillow. He always stays with me when I'm reading. Some water. Do you guys have your things? Your jammies, your stuffy? I hope you do. Tonight's story is called Too Many Chickens. It's written by Paulette Bourgeois and it's illustrated by Bill Slavin. Let's get started. Too Many Chickens. Mrs. Kerr's class wiggled and squiggled and giggled. The farmer had brought the eggs, 12 eggs, that would soon be chicks. They were oval and speckled and smelled like a chicken coop. Michael Alexander wrinkled his nose. Miss Kerr rolled her eyes and asked the farmer politely to put the eggs in the incubator. The class took good care of the eggs. They turned them and checked them, and they worried about them at night. And then, on the 21st day, a crack marbled the surface of an egg. The crack widened. Rat-tat-tat, needled the beak. For the very first time, Mrs. Kerr's class was still. The eggs opened, one by one, like ice cracking in the spring. All the chicks hatched. They were the color of sweet butter and as soft as cotton balls. The principal came to see the chicks. The caretaker came to see the chicks. Even the grade 6s came to see the chicks. Aren't they cute? They cooed. The chicks went peep and tried to hop over the edge of the brooder. On Monday, the farmer was supposed to come and get the chicks, but she never arrived. By Thursday, the chicks were big enough to jump. Mrs. Kerr was worried. Every day, they grew a little bigger. They were noisy and speckled and smelled like a chicken coop. They roosted on the science table and pecked under desks. They clawed at the carpet. They took baths in the sink and shook their soggy feathers on the art supplies. They were always hungry. Mrs. Kerr kept a bag of seed in her desk. The rooster found his crowing voice, and the hens never stopped chattering. "I can't stand this anymore!" screamed Michael Alexander when a chicken walked across his brand new book. "They are noisy and ugly, and they stink." It was true. The chicks weren't cute anymore, and they did smell. Nobody visited room 17, not even the caretaker. Then the chicks started laying eggs. Michael Alexander painted a sign, and Mrs. Kerr taught the children how to reach under the hens and gather eggs. Finally, the farmer came. She was most apologetic. She already had so many chickens, she forgot to pick up the chicks. The farmer looked around room 17 and grinned. "These chickens look so happy." She said, "I can't bear to take them away." Before Miss Kerr could interrupt, The farmer added, "Here's a little present for all you've done." Michael Alexander shuddered. Mrs. Kerr rolled her eyes. "Bunnies!" said Mrs. Kerr. "How cute!" The rabbits had long white fur, pink eyes, and crinkly wet noses. The principal came to see the bunnies. The caretaker came to see the bunnies. Even the grade sixes came to see the bunnies. Soon there were 4 more bunnies. Mrs. Kerr had to build a bigger cage. She kept carrots and alfalfa in her desk. Before long, there were 16 bunnies, but Mrs. Kerr wasn't worried. Michael Alexander painted a new sign, and Mrs. Kerr taught the class how to knit. Soon everyone was wearing an Angora hat, even the farmer. Why, she was so happy with her new hat that she gave Mrs. Kerr's class a present. Michael Alexander gasped. Mrs. Kerr rolled her eyes. There, outside the school, hunched over the grass, was a great big old nanny goat. "The old goat smells," said Michael Alexander. "I know," said Mrs. Kerr. "At least she eats the grass," said Michael Alexander. "And I think the caretaker likes her," said Mrs. Kerr. There was no way to get rid of the old goat, but Mrs. Kerr wasn't worried. Michael Alexander took out his paints. Mrs. Kerr kept her apples in her desk and taught the children how to milk. People liked the goat's milk. The caretaker brought 2 glasses every morning and said he'd never felt better. Mrs. Kerr's class earned enough money from selling eggs and milk and hats to buy a small farm far away from the school. The caretaker decided he'd always wanted to live in the country. He took the chickens and the bunnies and the goat and went to live on the farm. The children stopped milking and knitting and gathering the eggs. Michael Alexander had no more signs to make. Mrs. Kerr finally had time to teach what she was supposed to teach. "We're going to learn about seeds," she announced. And then Mrs. Kerr pulled 4 bags of seeds from her desk drawer. Jack and the Beanstalk bean sprouts, giant pumpkin seeds, mile-high popping corn seeds, and bursting bloom tomato seeds. The children smirked, and Michael Alexander got out the paint. I hope you enjoyed Too Many Chickens. It was a fun book to read. I want to wish you all sweet dreams and a blessed day tomorrow. A special good night goes out to Solana and Landon, Darko, Yassine, and Morgan. Sweet dreams, everybody.